As we wrap up our regular season, this will be the final weekly video review for officials and coaches of the ODAC and USA South conferences. Let's get to it. On this play, we have a lot of things to talk about. The first thing we want to talk about is the formation. Look at these two receivers. Now, if you look at their front foot, they both appear to be at the same point on the line of scrimmage, and the outside receiver could be covering up this inside receiver. But if we take a look and see how many backs they have, we see that they only have 3 backs if both of these individuals are on the line of scrimmage. Rule of thumb is that we use a blade of grass philosophy. If we can put a blade of grass between any of these two receivers and they haven't declared their position on or off the line of scrimmage, we can put the one that is farther up on and the one that is farther back off the line of scrimmage. If you look at the feet again, you'll notice that our outside receiver, the one closer to the sideline, has his foot beyond the big line. And that helps us out because we can put him on the line of scrimmage and put the inside receiver off the line of scrimmage since his foot is not past that line. As this play progresses, we see that our short wing had both these wide receivers on the line and drops the flag for ineligible downfield as soon as the pass is thrown. On this next portion of the play, let's review a potential targeting foul. Monitor the contact here and see that our back judge comes in with the flag. From our end zone view, we get a better angle on the contact between the players. Our gold team member is high pointing the ball as he is making the catch and is still in the process of making a catch as he comes to the ground. By rule, he is considered a defenseless player at this point. As he comes to the ground, we see that number 25 attacks our receiver in the head and neck area. And we can tell that this is an attack to the head and neck area because you'll see that the helmet goes from looking down to looking up. That type of motion is a clear indicator that we have forcible contact with the head and neck area. Since we have a defenseless player, and we have this forcible contact with the head and neck area, our indicator of targeting, we can keep this flag for targeting on the play. The last part of our play that needs to be reviewed is whether we have a catch or an incomplete pass. As this receiver goes up and gains possession of the ball, we see that when he comes down, his right foot lands entirely inbounds. And as the player goes to the ground, he maintains possession of the ball the entire time. We can see our short wing on this play, after throwing the flag, direct his attention downfield, but maybe doesn't have the clearest look since he's blocked off by a defender and immediately declares this pass incomplete. On close plays like this, we definitely want to communicate with our tandem sideline partner. As this player goes up, comes back down, let's move forward towards our tandem partner and make sure we both have the same opinion on this play. If time is of an issue, we can give the dead ball signal, kill the clock while we communicate. In either case, we either have a player out of bounds or we have an incomplete pass, and we can kill that clock as we're coming up the sideline. The last element too is that we also want to be patient as we give this incomplete signal. We want to make sure this player maintains possession from the time he lands in bounds and survives the ground. With all these pieces of information, we can make a credible and correct call. On this play, let's look at a potential offensive pass interference foul and good crew communication. We recognize that number 40 of the offense is blocking downfield prior to the ball being touched. This is an indicator of offensive pass interference, but not necessarily a foul. In order for this to be a foul, the forward pass needs to cross the original line of scrimmage without being touched. And we recognize now that we have touching behind the line of scrimmage by the offensive team, and this contact by number 40 is no longer offensive pass interference. Our headline judge may have had some thoughts on this and pulls out the flag, but ultimately doesn't throw it. Short wings, let's be patient. Let's get all the information. And if this flag comes in late, it's still a correct call. So keep the flag in your belt unless you're going to throw it. Our back judge does have a flag, and being 35 yards away from where the ball is caught, probably doesn't know that it was caught in the backfield. Short wings, you have the information. You know this ball was caught behind the original line of scrimmage. When you see this flag, let's make sure we go to the middle of the field and we communicate that we have a ball that was touched behind the line of scrimmage and we cannot have offensive pass interference. As this play progresses, we see that our coach enters. We want to make sure that if we do have a coach that leaves the white and enters the field of play, we have a flag down. This is unsportsmanlike conduct at this point in the season. This play, let's review the difference between an illegal snap and a legal snap that ends up on the ground after the ball is released by the center. In this scenario, our center propels the ball backwards in one continuous motion. The ball slips out of his hands and is recovered by the back. On this play, we have a legal snap. Once this ball is on the ground, it's just considered a backwards pass. It can be recovered by either team member and advanced. This is not an illegal snap because the ball is propelled backwards in one continuous motion. There's no fidgeting or double clutching the ball that we notice on film. And since we don't have one of those additional features to make it illegal, this is just a legal snap that slips out of the center's hands. It's a live ball, officiated as such, and you'll be in good shape. On this play, we're going to review what we should do if we have multiple fouls by the kicking team on a scrimmage kick. Here, our right up back is going to commit a reverse takedown hold. So we should have a flag in the backfield. And then down here at the other end of the field, our kicking team member illegally blocks our receiving team member in the back, causing him to touch the ball. We're going to ignore this touching since our receiving team member was illegally blocked into the touch. And the ball is going to be recovered just inside the 1 yard line. The ball never penetrates the goal line, so we do not have a touchback on this play. So let's review what we should be doing on this play. Rule 6.3.13 reminds us that whenever we have a foul by the kicking team, we can enforce that foul from the previous spot or where the subsequent dead ball belongs to Team B after the kick. Now, we may have to go talk to the coach. Coach may want the ball, but if we enforce either one of these fouls, they're both 10-yard fouls. And if we go from the end of the kick, that 10-yard foul is going to move it from approximately the 1 yard line to the 11-yard line. And that's not going to be the most advantageous position for this coach if he can get our kicking team to re-kick the ball. If we do choose to enforce this penalty from the previous spot, we'll go from the 36-yard line back to the 26-yard line, and we're going to replay the down. So have a conversation with the coach so he knows what his options are. We don't usually have these previous spot enforcements because typically the receiving team wants the ball so that they can play offense. But given the ultimate outcome of this play, let's give the coach an option to put himself in the most advantageous position. And this is what this crew did. So good job. Make sure we're communicating with our coaches. They know what they can do in order to best help their teams. On this next play, we're going to review good deep coverage of the goal line on a long running play. First thing I want to point out, we get a flag right here from our umpire for a hold on the offense. Whenever we have a flag, that's not an indicator that we should quit on this play. We got to keep moving downfield and watch the continuous action because you never know what's going to happen. And as we move downfield, we see our offense approaching the goal line when White gets a hand on the ball, is able to tear it out and recover just inside the goal line. Deep wings. This is a great example of why we maintain our cushion and we stay in front of the play as it progresses towards the goal line. Our short wing here is trailing the play and wouldn't be able to get a good spot on this fumble. Fortunately, our field judge and our back judge are in great position. They both get a beanbag on the ground, and with their position on the goal line, they're able to accurately determine that this ball never crosses the goal line, and therefore we do not have a touchback. Great hustle, great mechanics, great spot, great coming in, killing the clock. You guys look great doing this. This is what it should look every time we have a play that almost goes the distance. That is a wrap for the Week 10 video review and our ODAC and USA South Conference video review for the season. Good luck in Week 11. Good luck to all teams and officials who are participating in the postseason. And we'll see you in 2025.